So this video is an outline, basically what happens from the very beginning of the process, I'm talking an email, to the end of the process. And it's the last video I'm doing, however, it should probably be the first video watched. As you already know, there's basically two ways that you're gonna end up being a donor for somebody. You're either gonna get a call from Be The Match, or you're gonna get a call from a doctor regarding a family member that you have that needs a stem cell or bone marrow transplant. So as you know, in my case, it was my brother. So they called me up, they said, we need you to do the saliva test, we're gonna send it out, and please overnight it back right away. Which I did that, and within a couple of days, they told me that I am a match. After that, quite a bit of time went by, and quite a bit of emailing went by back and forth. So after a couple months of waiting for my brother's end, they finally sent me a preliminary schedule of what it might look like if they fly me there to take care of this procedure. And yes, you heard me right, I said if they fly me there. So I believe this is an across-the-board thing. They will fly you, they will pay for your flights, they'll pay for your hotels. In my case, I didn't need a car. I borrowed my brother's car for a couple of weeks, and they won't cover all your food, and they certainly won't cover your salary while you're gone. If you're lucky enough to do it in your own area and not have to fly out for a couple of weeks, that's great. But in my situation, it sounds like City of Hope really wants ultimate control of everything, and once you go through the process, it totally makes sense. So they wanted me to fly there, be there for a couple of weeks, take care of everything themselves, monitor any potential situations, and in that way everything is under their control. Once everything was firmed up and they made sure that I was okay with the preliminary schedule, then they go ahead and they issue a permanent schedule on a calendar so you could see everything that's going on. Now me, I had a coordinator from Kaiser, I had a coordinator from City of Hope, and I believe there was a third one that handled all of my trip documents, the booking of the planes, and they did ask me what I would like first, so I gave them the flight numbers and they would just book it for me, and they booked the extended stay hotel that I'm staying in right now as well. I based everything off of this calendar. I arrived on a Friday, and the first date that shows is a Saturday. That day is when I go to a Kaiser and I do all my blood work. That day I could choose any Kaiser in the area and I do my blood work, chest x-ray, EKG, you know, all that basic physical stuff. The blood work, they take about 19 vials. The chest x-ray was no big deal. All these appointments went seamlessly and very quickly. Then the next important day was called Donor Clearance Day. This is a long day. This was a 3-page list of appointments for that one day. So this day is actually very important. You have your initial check-in to City of Hope, your nurse appointment, they go through everything. You got your lab work again to confirm what happened on the previous day before. They just want to follow up and make sure everything is good. Then you go through your teaching appointment, shows you how to do your own injections. And then your initial meeting with the nurse practitioner, and the visit with the doctor that's in charge of the whole procedure. So they really do lay everything out really well for you. The schedule does show both my schedule and the recipient's schedule, which is my brother Ken. They gave me the starting time for the injections, and that goes on for 4 days, and on the 5th day, I go to the hospital and they harvest my stem cells. So this is where a couple of things might happen. You may or may not know or ever meet your donor, I guess. In my case, they were trying to schedule my stem cell harvesting around my brother's point of receiving the donation. One thing led to the next. His schedule changed 3 times. It didn't work out. They ended up cryo-freezing my cells until he's ready. It extended out about a week or maybe a week and a half. So as far as a donor goes, you're done after that stem cell harvesting day. They do require 4 days of recovery before you get on an airplane. And from what I'm told, this is really based on making sure you're not going to get a blood clot while sitting on an airplane for a long time. They just want to make sure you're right. So for me, the entire process took 2 weeks. And I'm not sure if that's a normal time, but 2 weeks is a fairly long time to go away and leave your family at home. But for me, I did have family here, so it definitely made things a little bit easier. So I think that's all I have for now. Hopefully this little series of videos helped and made you laugh a little bit. And if you have any questions whatsoever, leave them in the description. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks a lot for watching and following me along on this journey.